Finally, one more thought. Mark Twain taught us that age is an issue of mind over matter. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter. But let's be frank, we do mind, and yes, it does matter. After all, didn't Ponce de Leon spend years back in the 16th century looking for that lost fountain of youth? And these days, it sometimes seems as though we're surrounded by people who could use a drink from that fountain of youth, starting with many of our politicians.
People do believe that our elected leaders are just too old, and those same elected leaders are really reluctant to give up that power.
Which makes it all the harder for the young to wait for their turn in the big leagues. But it turns out there are at least some places where that wait is getting shorter rather than getting longer. Like tech, for example, where Mark Zuckerberg became a billionaire at 23.
This guy's probably smiling big today.
Yes, big smile on his face. His wealth went up by $1.6 billion just in one day, just yesterday.
Just in one day.
And Evan Spiegel made it by 25. Sam Bankman-Fried was a billionaire briefly when he was 29, but I'm not sure that that one still counts.
The players like Sam Bankman-Fried might be new. This kind of fraud, this kind of corruption is as old as time.
Or in sports, we have young baseball players racing their way through the minors like never before, according to sports site Defector. Like Jackson Holliday, moved up by the Orioles to AAA ball only a year out of high school, aided by high tech applied to his training. Though Detroit Tigers fans like me might recall that our Al Kaline first played in the majors at 18, long before we used all those newfangled computers. Which takes us to artificial intelligence. Nobel Prize winner Michael Spence told us that the best use of AI may well be to augment what we do rather than replace it.
Our best guess is that generative AI is mainly, not exclusively, but mainly going to turn out to be a powerful digital assistant.
And some professions are already using this new digital assistant to advance the careers of their junior talent faster than ever before. This week, Bloomberg reported that new graduates hired at KPMG are using artificial intelligence tools to do tax works that used to require at least 3 or 4 years of experience. And law firm McFarland's has junior lawyers working with AI to interpret complex legal documents that the partners wouldn't let us go near back when I was starting out. All of which may mean those accountants and those lawyers will get their coveted partnerships much earlier than we used to. So it turns out that 450 years after Ponce de Leon traipsed around Florida looking for that fountain of youth, we have found the opposite. Artificial intelligence that lets us grow old earlier. Call it maybe the fountain of age. Now the question is whether this will spread from lawyers to doctors. Stanford Medical School Dean Lloyd Minor says they're already well into integrating AI into medicine.
There will be less emphasis on memorization, more emphasis, I think, on truly understanding, and in particular, understanding what these models are doing and how they can be responsibly deployed and trained.
So we may be just around the corner from bringing to the world what 30 years ago TV only imagined in Doogie Howser, who graduated from med school at 14 and was practicing medicine at 16.
Today's his 16th birthday. Getting his license would just be the most perfect present.
You want to go to jail?
No, you'll be going to jail for criminal negligence.
Who is this kid?
That's my son, the doctor.